Hey team, I just wanted to do a final check-in. We've kind of made it through the Thanksgiving break and we're in that final home stretch. Hopefully everybody's caught up on classes and kind of ready to go academically. And I want to make sure that we're pushing through. We're finishing strong for the semester with work. Obviously, it's been a long semester. Everybody's done great. We've kept the facility safe. We've kept the facility open. We just want to make sure that we're, doing everything that we know to do as we finish up the semester. One of the things, we've seen a lot of water bottles left on the courts in the morning. Obviously, we want to make sure we're reminding folks, hey, pick up after yourself. Take care of those water bottles. If we see that extra stuff left at the end of the night, grab it as we're doing our final walkthrough and throw it out. Reports. Make sure we're still doing all of our reports. And especially our accident reports. Let's make sure that we're doing those as the paper reports. We're just going to not worry about doing them in the portal at this point, and not even worry about doing them in DSE because we know that some of the reporting isn't there yet for DSE. So we got to have those paper reports either way. So let's go ahead and do all of our accident reports in the paper form, make sure it gets to me, and I can send that on to our risk management folks. A little bit more on the DSE stuff. You guys have been doing a good job. I've gotten some notes about what's working, what's not working. Let's make sure that we're continuing to do that. One of the things that was noted to me is that the performance reports are still not in the system. So for now, we'll continue to do them in the portal. If we can't find them in the portal, we can always do just a paper note. Obviously, the portal is where we want to do them for now until we've got things up and working for that in DSE. If the portal doesn't work, we'll just make sure that we've got a note that's to our HR folks so that they can create the performance report and follow up on it. All of those good things. But things like counts, I know some of you have done the counts in there and it's great. I can see it showing up. If you've got questions with how those work, just let me know. So essentially what it does, it does a timestamp whenever you put that report in. And then when I look at the data, it says, okay, anything that was reported between 6 and 7, it shows up at the 6 a.m. time slot. Pretty easy, straightforward, very usable on DSE. So let's make sure we continue to do that and get those much more consistent. I know we've slacked off in the semester because the portal just wasn't getting it done. But now that DSE is, let's make sure we do that. There are some quirks that it doesn't work quite the way we wanted it to. But the portal was purpose built for us specifically. We're never going to find a software that does everything exactly the way we wanted. But DSE is doing it pretty well for those reports. When we're doing lost and found, make sure that you start your entry with lost or found or returned, resolved. Like, we want to make sure that kind of all caps, and we'll come up with what that terminology is. Right now, I've done lost, found, and resolved because that's the terminology we've been using. But because we're not limited, we could say lost, found, returned, sent on, court 3. Like, we could do some different terminology. So let me know what you think about that. Let's make sure that we're doing stuff like checking users, memberships. If folks are saying, oh, hey, I should have access, you guys now should have a pretty good availability to check somebody's access based on how they're in the system. If they show up as a student without any kind of note, they should be good. We should have notes for folks that aren't allowed in for a specific reason, or they should show up as a student that needs to purchase a membership. But that way we can kind of track those things. Obviously, still we're requiring IDs. We're still requiring folks to bring it in. But when you're making those exceptions, you now have a little more data and a little more information to make those exceptions from. But we want to make sure we check those. Also want to share with you guys a couple of things as far as support staff that's going to be around and helping you guys out. So for the spring semester, we have hired a new PC for facilities. That will be Amelia Burwell. She's currently at the service center because Ajay will be graduating. So I'll have her in and be training her, but make sure if you see her, you get a chance to say hi, introduce yourselves. She will be the one creating those Trello cards for you, making sure that the lists are up to date, making sure that everything you guys need information-wise is there. Also, we have created a new position that we're calling an event program manager, and that person is going to function both in some event planning and in some event management. So those of you that were here last year, worked with Bruno, this student position, this program, this kind of PC type position will be doing some of those responsibilities. So that's a person you'll see at some of the events that we're supporting. That person will be creating some of those event cards with that information so that you guys have the information you need to build and support events. So, and that we're going to have 1 to 2 people in that position as we kind of shape and figure out exactly what that position needs to be and how many hours that's going to entail. And I'll introduce those folks as that's finalized. So, and I hope everybody's doing well. I know we've got quite a few of you barreling towards graduation, or at least towards leaving CMU. Some of you doing student teaching and internships and things like that in the spring. But I really want to make sure that I give you guys a chance to stop in, say hi. But also, I'm more than happy to look at resumes. I'm happy to help make recommendations, help be a reference, all of those sorts of things for you. Obviously, even if you're not graduating, but especially for those of you that are graduating, I'm happy to do those things to support you guys as you're moving on to next steps. Congratulations, and make sure that you guys are all, working hard to finish the semester strong and, being safe. We're getting into the winter season. Y'all will be disappearing on me for a few weeks, most of you, as we get through commencement into winter break. So make sure you guys are being safe during that time, and make sure you say hi before we get there. So fire up chips, and we'll see you guys around.